Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Are Trans presents Trans Talks. I'm your host, Sammie James, and we are back with another one of our wonderful trans faves. Please welcome the wonderful comedian Cindy Rivers. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Everything's going good here. First thing I ask on this show is for you to introduce yourself a little bit more. Now, I specifically ask what words do you use to describe yourself, and that can be identity wise, and it can also be, I don't know, nerd. Uh, vegan. These are just random words. I don't know if either of those are you. Uh, but um yeah, and if you want to give any other intro after giving like words you use to describe yourself, you can go ahead and do that.
Well, okay. Um, let's see. How do I want to describe this? Transgender woman, Canadian, comedian. I'm originally from Newfoundland, but now I live in Alberta. So if any Canadians are watching, they kind of know what's up with that. And I don't know. Maybe I'm a nerd. I don't know. I'm not sure. I could be. I like some things nerdy. I also like antique things, and a pretty big fan of like the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. And dinosaurs because that's something I studied and I love them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What now if this is like picking your favorite child, like let me know, but what's your favorite dinosaur?
There's so many cool ones, and they're all just like beautiful. I just love them so much. But like a brachiosaurus comes to mind because I don't know. I like them. I like the crest on the head. I like the shape of their head. I feel like apatosaurs, which are similar but without the crest, are a little bit too plain looking. Their heads look weird to me, so the crest just makes that a perfect animal.
Yeah. Nice.
That's a weird answer. I know. I'm like, I need
No,
crested
it's
heads
fine.
for to work.
No, you gave a real answer, okay? I'm glad it wasn't that, that hack T-Rex. That you gave it thought. You answered the question.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not copping out on the old T-Rex, even though they're cool. They're
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I'm still not copping out on it. A lot of times when it comes up in conversations, people say it's a pterodactyl. Pterodactyl's not really a dinosaur. It's a pterosaur, which is different. That's like calling a bird a mammal, not the same. So I hate it when people say pterodactyl, and they also think pterodactyls are like huge, but they're not. They're not very big. Maybe like a turkey size
Yeah.
ish. The great big ones are pteranodons are bigger than pterodactyls, but the giant ones that you might see floating around the internet are actually Quetzalcoatlus. Very different again, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I did know this, but I was going to ask in this interview. I don't know that I knew you were Canadian. Like I did, like I think I did know you were Canadian, but,
Well, um, the,
I
the,
knew as soon as we started talking. Like,
oh yeah, the whole trucker Canadian convoy Ottawa rally. There's a big like group of people like protesting mandates and mask mandates and stuff, and they're currently driving through Edmonton, where I live, right now, and blowing their horns very loudly. That's what I'm looking at. Just
oh,
yeah, just a bunch of rednecks mad because they can't breathe through a piece of cloth. You know.
well, it's not good to know, but it's good to know that it's not just us in America living through hell right now.
No, yeah, that's all of us. We're all part of that. Uh, yeah, but I am Canadian. That's weird. I don't know. I don't talk about being Canadian a lot. I guess online, maybe on my TikTok I do. It's relevant there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have. I was because this is listeners. This is also the first time we're getting to like actually have like a conversation. We've been on like one or two shows together. But this is the first time we're like talking. Uh, so I was like, is she from Canada or is she from like Minnesota? Like I don't.
Yeah, no, definitely Canada, northern Alberta, where all the dirty oil is and such.
Yeah. So, how I know you from comedy. How did you get into comedy?
Um,
Such an awful question.
it's well, hang on.
All right. Listen, I asked how she got into comedy, and it's a tough question, okay? How did you get into comedy? No. No, we're not answering that. She'll be back. Uh, So I will use this as an opportunity to promote We Are Trans. We Are Trans runs monthly shows. We will be after this month's show, which will be on February 12th and is themed around love. That show is Trans Love Stories. After that show, We Are Trans is going to be stopping the monthly themed shows for a little while. We'll still bring them up every once in a while, and we are going to have a monthly show. We've done it twice before, but it's going to be our regular show, the Badass Trans Women of Comedy. That starts in March. Cindy will be on that show. I think the second one of those we do. And Trans Talks is every week. And now that I've given that blurb, she's been waiting in the waiting room of this stream since I started doing this as a response to the stream kicking her. Please welcome Cindy Rivers back.
Thanks for having me back. I don't know what happened. I got booted out or something. It was weird.
Oh, it's totally fine. It's
So
totally fine. The internet messes with all of us.
it does. Technology is it's great sometimes, not always. But comedy, you asked how I got into comedy. Basically, it was something I wanted to do my entire life. I used to get beat up a lot when I was a kid and stuff. Comedy, laughing, I use as deflection,
Yeah,
like a lot of us do. And I don't know, I just enjoyed it. It was a big part of my life and who I was. And I didn't think being a comedian or becoming a comedian was possible. Not where I'm from. Not where, that's not the way things work. Like I'm from Newfoundland, which is really it's an island province, far east coast of Canada, and I'm from like a 500 person town. You know, like
right.
I didn't. Comedy's not a thing. So
Yeah,
even though it was part of my life, and when I came out, I made some friends, and they were drag queens actually, and they had a show coming up, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to open the show?" Because we were talking about like our bucket list items and stuff. I'm like, "I want to do comedy," and they're like, "Cool, let's come out and do it." So I did it, and people laughed, so they asked me to do it again. People laughed, they asked me to do it again, and then it just kind of rolled into a thing until it became like a thing, like a viable living option for me to be a comedian, and it just kind of happened, yeah.
nice, nice. So your first time doing stand up was at a drag show?
Yeah,
That's a trial by fire. That really.
yeah, it was interesting. I didn't tiptoe through like the open mics and backdoor my way in there. Excuse the pun, I guess. Backdoor, drag. Anyway, um, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do that. I just kind of I went, yeah, okay, and just kind of jumped in there. It was like 300 people. It was insane, and I was terrible, honestly. I thought I was doing great, but like if I look back on it, I'm like, I was so bad at this.
Oh,
Not good at
that
all.
is every comedian looking at their first set. Because listen, I did great my first time on stage compared to me as a comedian now. That was ape shit. That was like,
Yeah, it's good though.
yeah,
It's it's fun. It's part of the journey, so I try not to be too embarrassed about it. But I'm like, it's part of the journey. I had to do the first ones
yeah,
to get going, so
yeah.
it's all part of
Um,
it. And it turned into some really awesome shows for me. Really good career so far. So
yeah, that's
yeah.
great. That's awesome. So, other than this drag show, what have been some of your favorite places to perform?
I got a handful, I guess. I like everywhere. Like, don't get me wrong. I'll go to anywhere and do a show, or I'll take any gig that's worth me taking. And then some of the like little hole in the wall bars that I've done, or private shows that I've done, um, have been some of my favorites. Just in these little no name places because I don't know, just a good time. It's very relaxed. But favorites overall would be Second City in Los Angeles.
Nice.
That's top three for sure somewhere. I did a run at the LA Comedy Club in Vegas. That was fun. And probably Just for Laughs Northwest when I opened for Hannah Gadsby at Just for Laughs. That was a good time. Really fun show. Lots of people. It's in a giant theater. We're talking like thousands of people. It was just a pretty surreal experience, I guess, when I did that. So yeah, really enjoyed it. And I've done some other really cool shows too, but I don't know about so far as favorites go. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. Another just like hack standard. Oh, you're a comedian question. Uh, who do you consider your influences, or do you have any? You don't have to have any.
I do have some. They're not all stand up. Some of them, most of them are, but like Margaret Cho, obviously, very good choice for anybody. Margaret's a wonderful, wonderful person. Great comedy. Um, and I mean, I've done some shows with some people I really admire, like Marsha Warfield and Debbie Gutierrez, and all these great people. But my influences are mainly, very mainly Bo Burnham. Yeah, because I just like how smart he is. And I like how I can listen to his stuff over and over and over again. And it seems like 3 years from now, if I listen to something, I'll catch a joke that I missed just hidden in there. He's really good at that. And I myself, I like my comedy's very wordy. I like playing with words. That's what I do. And yeah, he was a large influence on that. Jim Varney is another one. So Ernest P. Worrell, everybody, I know he's dead, but great guy. Loved all his stuff and his facial expressions and stuff. So when I'm doing comedy, my face is half the act almost. It's like part of it is the joke is a great joke, but it wouldn't work without whatever reaction or facial expression I'm
Oh
giving it.
yeah.
So yeah, I did pick that up from like Jim Varney and the way he is and stuff, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of Dimitri Martin, Mike Birbiglia, John Mulaney. You know the big ones, right? Those guys. Big fans of those guys. They all kind of influenced me in a way, I guess. But I have a lot of comedians that I really respect and find I pull little bits and pieces from. Jim Gaffigan is another good one. I also sometimes I don't imitate the crowd the way he does and pretend they're talking, but I kind of do a similar thing that's not close enough to be called the same thing, but similar enough to know that I drew inspiration from it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another
Yeah.
good one. And then some of the women are, like I said, Margaret Cho's good. Kathleen Madigan, old school, love her. Maria Bamford, another really
Yeah.
good one. And yeah, not to drop the stereotypical names out, but they're good people. I like what they did. They kind of paved the way for us, for a lot of women to get into comedy and
Absolutely.
make it a viable option. Yeah.
Absolutely. I ask three questions on this show every week. I've already asked one of you. This second one uh, is it's one of my favorite questions to ask. I don't, not even just trans people, because like I think it's everyone gets it from something. Uh, and there's so much focus on the other one. But what gives you gender euphoria?
Good question. My fiance, she does. She gives me gender euphoria. So, like many most trans folk, and I know we're talking about, or we're trying not to talk about dysphoria or whatever, but
Yeah,
it's a big part of our lives for a
absolutely.
lot of us and stuff. And in the beginning stages of me coming out, I used to get gender euphoria from like a lot of different things that I finally got to do or try that I couldn't before. So like I remember I had a coming out party when I came out, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make it a big party," and I did, and I wore like a prom dress because yes, and I did that, and that was a really big thing for me.
Mhm.
I cried when I got my ears pierced for the first time, not because it hurt, but because I was so happy. And when I finally took those little studs out and I put hoops in for the first time, it's like signature for me to have hoops, right? Like it's something I do. And like I bought these years ago after I got my ears pierced and finally put them in when I was allowed, and I never took them out. My hoops are like a part of me, but sometimes I'll wear different earrings for fun. But so far as current gender euphoria goes, I don't really have much dysphoria anymore, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, with a lot of that comes not much euphoria. Um, Being trans is a big part of my life. It's something I talk about a lot. Something in like a lot of my comedy. It's all over my TikTok and stuff. But like in my day-to-day life, being trans isn't like the standout thing anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like settled into this normalcy, and yeah. So I don't have. It's been a while, I guess. What I'm trying to say, and I don't really have those
Yeah.
firsts or new experiences now. I'm just comfortable and happy. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that makes sense. I don't know if
Yeah,
that.
no, totally. Totally. No, absolutely. And that's awesome. And like, you know, it's it's nice that like you get, it's nice when we get to just exist in gender euphoria. Where
Yeah, yeah.
it's just like you don't even call it that anymore.
Yeah, well, like when I got engaged, or when we got engaged, like 2 weeks ago, actually, literally 2 weeks
Congratulations.
ago. Thank you. It was a big deal. Like I cried again, not because of I mean, yes, because of the engagement, but because I was proposed to,
Oh,
right?
all
Like
right.
that was a pretty big deal. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that's very, very gendered, stereotypically gendered type thing, and I just, yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to the wedding dress someday. That's gonna do it too. But
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. So, final question I ask every week before we get into the fun stuff. Not the final question, but the final question I ask every week. That's a weird way to say that sentence. What cis nonsense are you sick of?
Right. So cis normative or heteronormative type stuff. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Or just like cis people, asking shitty questions, or like just any.
okay. So first of all, I sometimes I teach. So oops, hang on. This is reversed from how TikTok works, and I've done so many TikToks now. I'm having a hard time staying on camera because it's all backwards. Yeah, I'm lame. Uh, but like a lot of the cis and heteronormative stuff is, I don't know. I find like the things that are happening shouldn't be happening. I
Mhm.
actually have a degree in gender and sexuality and give inclusion and diversity trainings. I'm a public speaker on top of being a comedian. Lots of large businesses and organizations and not-for-profits here in Canada, including some of the provincial healthcare systems and school boards and all that fun stuff. So one of the things I like to tell a lot of people, because it is very cis or heteronormative behavior, is that if you wouldn't ask a straight person or a cis person that question, don't ask a trans person. Same rules apply.
Yep.
Think about it, right? You're not going to walk up to some strange woman in a grocery store and say, "Hello, how does your vagina look? What do you have in there?" No one's going to do that. No one's going to walk in and go, "Do you have a penis?" to any man on a regular day. Uh, so if you wouldn't ask them that, don't ask us that. It's pretty simple. There's three rules, or not rules. There's three basic questions I find come up more than anything else, and that is surgery or bottom surgery,
Yep.
genitals, something around the genitals.
Yep.
The other one is that your real hair? Get that all the time. And not just because it's green right now. Sometimes they ask when it's totally different. All right,
Yep.
it's a question. And yeah, what was the other one? There's three. Hang on. Real hair, genitals. Oh, there was a third one I always talk about. What was it? I'm having a brain fart.
Is it dead name? Is it dead name?
Yes, yes,
Yep.
it is.
I was like, I know that's it. I was like, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but yes, that is, I don't know why I was having a brain fart, but yes,
That's
that's
okay.
that's the other question, asking about old name. Now that being said, not every trans person is against that information.
Totally.
General rule of thumb, overall, they're not gonna like it. Don't ask it. If you wouldn't ask anybody. Don't ask a trans person. It's pretty simple. But if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they want to know, or we're having a, an intimate or close conversation, or if I'm teaching, I tell them that it's okay to ask me if they want, and I'll satisfy their curiosity if that's what the problem is, and I'll tell them why we don't ask people these questions. Myself personally, I don't mind. Uh, Mainly because when I was in the closet for 30 years, I came out when I was 30, everybody. I know I'm old. It was, yeah, 30. Yeah, I was 30. So I'm like super old, I know. But like when I was in the closet, one second, I'm having a brain fart again. My brain is so foggy today. What's going on? I should have wrote a set list for this, huh?
I did.
Oh yeah, that's smart. I should have. I was in the closet for a really long time, and I came out like older and later in life, so I understood a lot of things when I came out, and I was able to kind of handle it and navigate it decently. But still, people are weird about questions. I don't know why they always want to know, but they feel like we owe them something. Like, you have to answer this because I'm curious. I'm like, that's great, but that's not why anybody has to answer anything. Not really. I'm just super open about stuff. I don't have secrets. I had this big secret for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, and when I came out, I was like, I kicked down the closet door and never looked back. It busted right off the hinges. There's no hope. I just, no looking back. I'm done. No more secrets. And I mean, no more secrets. I will tell a perfect stranger if they're like, hey, what's your name? I'll be like, yep, this is my old name. I don't care. I'm not hiding anything. Having secrets is exhausting. Like, do you want to know how many times I peed myself as an adult? Because it's more than one. Like, I don't have any secrets. I'm not ashamed of anything. And it's really relieving for me to live like that. So, yeah. I'm talking in circles again. That happens.
No worries. Yeah. So, I moving on to just fun. Listen, I've called it rapid fire. It's never rapid fire, but just nonsense questions, and I mean that in the best possible way.
All right.
But first thing, I ask this every week: what is your comfort food, comfort music, comfort movie?
Pizza.
All right.
Pineapples belong on pizza. There's a
Yes, they
controversy for you.
do.
Comfort. Do I have a comfort movie? Jurassic Park or Tremors for movie? Both
So good.
or either.
So good.
I know Tremors word for word. It's like my most favoriteest movie ever. It's so good. Only the first one. Only the first one. Comfort music is typically I don't know. It's like, what, I don't even know what to call it. I'm all over the map when it comes to music. I like songs with emotional that are emotional, and not necessarily sad, but like emotional. You can feel the emotion in the songs. I don't. It doesn't really matter which genre it is. I just like and I pay a lot of attention to the vocalists. I like a unique vocalists and emotional songs. So there's a lot of singers that fall into that category. Some of the ones that come to my mind, like Jewel's really good, kind of unique. Her music's very emotional. And any songs I can kind of relate myself to, where you're in your head, you're like in a music video staring out a window because of me. But so yeah, any song I connect to. Christina Aguilera's Beautiful. I posted on TikTok again the other day. It's a great song. Very inclusive. I remember watching the music video when I was a kid, and there was like a trans person or drag queen, I'm not sure, however they were like identifying it's a music video, and I was a kid, but it just, I took comfort in seeing and hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that it? That was all the questions. Did I miss one? No? Okay.
No, that was the comfort questions. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm brain farting today, so I'm confused a little. I don't know.
That's okay. So I had given this question to you as an example of fun questions I ask on this show. And then immediately thought, I've never asked that. I love that question. What makes an ideal sandwich for you? Because I want someone to ask me that question, okay?
Well, I'll tell you, look, an ideal sandwich. I would say the best way to start is with bread.
Bread, you say?
Bread, yes, because I feel like if we're not using the bread, it's just a salad, isn't it? Like that's bread. Sandwiches are just handheld salads. That's what they are. Think about it. A little meat, a little cheese, go for it. A little sauce, right? Same thing. That's the first time I've ever said that, and it makes so much sense to me. I'm blowing my own mind right now.
Yeah. Oh.
Um, yeah, no. So I honestly think my ideal sandwich would be bread. I don't really care what kind, as long as it's not like too grainy. So like, I don't mean like 12 grain. I mean like some of it's very textury when you're chewing.
Oh
So I'm
yeah.
not a big fan of that. So like white bread or rye or brown, whatever, sourdough even. Toasted, yes, absolutely. Mayo, sauerkraut, pepper,
Nice.
some sort of meat, not necessarily like Reuben style roast beef, but something,
Nice.
except ham. I don't like ham. Not a big fan of ham. Bean sprouts, nice little flavor on there. Oh, like, oh yeah, another good thing I really like is brie on a sandwich. It's so good if you melt the brie a little bit. and oh, you know what? Another very favorite of mine is like a nice hard crusty. That sounds terrible, crusty. And a very crusted. That still sounds gross. Like a sub bun, so a longer
I'll
bun,
get it.
but like nice and fresh from a bakery, and we get some brie on there and turkey cranberry sauce. So good.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I'm
Okay.
fat. Food. I can talk about food all day. That's just,
Uh, what is your favorite animal?
my dog. No, just,
Hey, fair. Yeah,
she,
that can be the answer.
she's my favorite if she asks. No, my girlfriend Kat. No, her name is Kat. She's not a cat. Let me clarify. Um, my favorite animal. There's a lot of animals, different animals. I think it's cute, but I usually, and this is a true story. This is like stuffies and things that I collect and things that I like. Like, sometimes people are like chickens. They have like all this chicken decor or frogs and stuff like that. So for me, that is still indeed dinosaurs.
Yeah. Hey.
So that's my go-to for favorite animal. I will buy and collect all the dinosaur stuff. I love it so much. I've drawn lots of dinosaur pictures and paintings and stuff like that because I like to be an artist. And yeah, it's just dinosaurs are one of my things, along with comedy and being trans and that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So we are almost done. Final thing I like to ask is who are some trans folks out there who you think are doing good work? That doesn't need to be in the arts, it can be in any career field. Um, it can be other comedians, but it can be a lawyer.
Yeah. No, so that's a great question. I've like gotten this question before, obviously, and stuff. It comes up. Um, there's a lot of trans folk that I don't necessarily agree with how they do things or don't do things or say things or don't say things. Again, it doesn't boil down to them being trans, but it's just like personality wise or personally wise. I'm like, I don't jive with that. And I don't have a lot of that going on in my life. I don't have a lot of trans friends. I don't know a heck of a lot of trans people outside of comedy or the ones that I met or like, you know what I mean? Um, but some people will be like, Caitlyn Jenner. Obviously not Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner is 100% a woman, but still a garbage human. So that's how that works. We don't change her pronouns because she's terrible. She still has them, but she's terrible. She's way too far right from me. She's like, it's not fair. She transitioned, okay? She shouldn't. We should have took away her white male rich privilege with that. No. You know what I mean? They're like, she's like, I'm coming out, and everyone's like, okay. And then she got to keep her privilege. What's up with that junk? You know what I mean? I had a new vagina installed like 2 years ago, right? You know what I mean? I told that that's the start of a joke, and I did it on stage the other day, and a lady's like, does it work? And I'm like on a pipeline, because kinda, but like, I was like, what do you mean? Does it? Yeah, of course it works for $3 an hour or less. It does absolutely, but that's like I didn't get to keep my privilege when I came out. I got fired, but So not Caitlyn Jenner. That's why it isn't Caitlyn Jenner. Laverne Cox, I know from like Orange Is the New Black, doing great work. Not really the same kind of approach I would take, but it's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Like the cast of the show Pose, and there's so many great people involved there. Jazz Jennings is another great one. There's a lot of people that I think are helping with the visibility. Elliot Page, my bad. Elliot Page is another really good one, or a really good example. Um, a little unrealistic though, and I think a lot of society misses that. So Elliot Page comes out, kicks the closet door down, everybody's on board because Elliot has a giant fan base. You know what I mean? So like any regular trans person coming out won't get the treatment that Elliot Page got, and there's a lot of privileges that come with having money when you're transitioning that might make somebody like Elliot's transition a little bit smoother than say some random person who works at a grocery store. So again, they're out there and the visibility helps, but I feel like it causes a little bit of fogginess around everyday life for trans
Yeah,
people. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't. There's not like a whole bunch that I like idolize. One of the reasons I did come out, I have like a list of not why I came, when I came out, when I did, like everything that kind of went together to make that happen.
yeah,
And one of them is Against Me, the band Against Me, very good band.
yeah.
Black Me Out was pretty popular on the radio, and of course, lead singer Laura Jane Grace, trans.
Yep.
And I watched. I don't know if you know of. It was a. He's really popular on Canadian TV. He was on Much Music, so like our music station. His name is George Stroumboulopoulos, and then he did this. He used to interview lots of musicians, all the famous ones, and he did that on TV with Laura Jane Grace. And I was watching it, and that whole back and forth that they have, and the respect that George had for her, and all that stuff, kind of brought me to respecting not only Laura but also George. And I'm like, this is okay. I can.
Yeah,
The first time I saw that, I went, some people aren't going to hate me,
yeah.
and that was like the first time it ever clicked in my head that there may I might be able to come out. So I do owe a lot of it to her, who's going to be playing here in Edmonton in March,
Cool.
trying to sneak in. Yeah, and like some people will toss out other names too. Eddie Izzard's another one. I don't agree with a lot of what Eddie does, but comedian, right? You know how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Are there any other names? Do I talk about anybody else? I think that's it. I that's not it. There's lots of great ones. I do know a few very good trans people. I know some trans people that are very good at what they do. But it's just hard to remember and name everybody. The influence itself, you kind of need to focus on those things that really pulled you through. And I like sharing mine with other people to see if that helps. Like, have you cracked a few eggs? I'm sure you have before, right? I've done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I was cracked.
Oh,
Like,
really?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was yeah, when I was in college, I like said there was like a news story about a trans person. I was just like, that's not like this woman who I didn't know was trans, who I knew, pulled me aside and was just like, whoa, trans women aren't men. I'm not a man. Honey, be honest to yourself. Neither. I was just like, no.
Yeah. It happens. So yeah, like that's what we do. Like sometimes it happens by accident when you crack somebody, right? It's
Oh
not
yeah,
on
yeah,
purpose,
yeah.
but it's a good thing. And I like I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal, but I like visibility is huge to me. Like my whole platform, my comedy is about exists for visibility purposes. I do a lot of activism work for visibility purposes. I'm very vocal about trans rights for visibility purposes. I just want people to see that trans people are, quote unquote, relatively normal. Like we live life like a lot of other people, and we exist, because you have those people who are like, oh, there's not even that many trans people. Like, there certainly is, but a lot of them are afraid because you're stupid. All right. So I just visibility is a large part of my platform, my life, and what I aim for. So I'm hoping that someday, besides cracking a few eggs, I'm hoping that someday somebody else will get that question and I helped them through that.
Yeah,
I know,
awesome.
what a selfish answer, eh?
It's fine. So, Cindy, thank you so much for talking to me. today. Before I let you go, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to do that? How can people support you? What do you have coming up that people can check out?
I would say check my social medias. I'll give you the handles now for upcoming shows, just because the way everything was fluctuating with the COVID and the Omicron and stuff, everything like it's still evolving. My schedule is constantly evolving, so updates properly on my social medias. I do have some things coming up in Edmonton and Vancouver over the next 2 months. So definitely catch me in any of those places. But my social media is online. So my Facebook is Cindy Rivers Comedy. Nothing's private either, by the way. None of my stuff is private. You can go check it out, look at it. Even if you don't want to friend me, nothing's private. I don't hide anything. I'm cool like that. But Cindy Rivers Comedy on Facebook. Cindy Rivers Comedy on Instagram, and Cindy Rivers Official on TikTok. And currently, TikTok is where I spend most of my time. Uh, yeah, I do. Facebook gets a lot of updates and posts. So does Instagram, but TikTok is just kind of silly, and you'll still get those updates. So if you want to have a small laugh and a few jokes and listen to me rant about something, I don't know. Do I rant? I don't rant. Maybe I rant a little on TikTok, and I would love that. More followers on TikTok, the better. Again, visibility.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching. We'll be back next week with another conversation with one of our trans faves. But until then, take care of yourselves and